If there was one outfit that defined men's style in the 20th century, it would be the suit and tie. And if there was one outfitter who helped pioneer that look, it would be Brooks Brothers. But workplace fashion has changed a lot since the suit's heyday. And analysts say Brooks Brothers wasn't able to keep up with modern men who often wanted styles that were cheaper and more functional. The tipping point came when the suit maker was forced to shutter stores during ongoing coronavirus lockdowns, and in July it filed for bankruptcy.
Brooks Brothers is filing for bankruptcy protection.
It's planning to close about 50 of its 200 stores.
And that is the sort of decline in the suit. People are not wearing pinstripes to work in the same way.
Here's how the retailer went from the top of menswear to filing for bankruptcy. The Brooks Brothers brand identity is built around its American roots.
Brooks Brothers is the oldest American clothier. They, along the way, have had a really outsized impact on American men's fashion in particular, kind of defining what men's style is in America and also having a lot of different cultural touch points.
That impact started in 1818, when Henry Sands Brooks opened a men's clothing store in New York City. He enlisted the help of his sons, and the store was renamed Brooks Brothers. The retailer built its high-class reputation early. Abraham Lincoln wore a Brooks Brothers overcoat seen here during his second inauguration, and the company claims to have dressed 40 out of 45 presidents. Heading into the 20th century, the company had a pioneering moment in 1896 when it introduced the button-down collared shirt, which would become a staple of professional work attire.
Brooks Brothers did a really good job of basically being an innovator and creating styles that, were something that men were going to want to wear and put into their wardrobe, and especially put into the wardrobe day in, day out.
By the middle of the 20th century, the suit became standard uniform for working professionals, from Madison Avenue ad executives to middle America salesmen. As it grew, the retailer opened U.S. factories and began selling clothes to both men and women.
The big look for Brooks was this kind of natural shouldered, was very easy wearing suit. Our touchstone when we talk about this period is always the man in the gray flannel suit. What you would see in that movie of a man on the train commuting into work and everyone's wearing, a dark gray or dark blue suit. And they really helped kind of hammer home that that was how men should be dressing and what men should be wearing.
One of the retailer's designs, the non-iron shirt, was a massive success, but showed signs men's fashion was becoming more utilitarian. The business began to shift in 1988, when the company was sold to British retailer Marks & Spencer.
Marks & Spencer tries some things out. They try to update the stores. They try to update the shopping experience. They start to change up where things are produced. At this point, Brooks's customer base is pretty set in stone. They know what the brand offers, they rely on the brand for certain items, and they are, for lack of a better term, a risk-averse consumer. But the 1980s are a time where fashion is changing significantly for men. For the Brooks Brothers guy, that was a hard thing to stomach.
Throughout the 90s, the retailer struggled as trends towards casual dressing emerged that even reached the top of the corporate world. And in 2001, the company was sold again to another foreign owner, this time to Italian businessman Claudio Del Vecchio.
He has big plans, and a lot of analysts and a lot of people that watch the clothing space have faith in it, and they think that maybe he can turn it around. He hires the American menswear designer Tom Brown to start Brooks Brothers Black Fleece, which is this higher end, more niche line. He also hires Zach Posen, who's an American women's wear designer, to become the head of design for Brooks Brothers women's side.
What's amazing about Brooks Brothers is I don't think there's anywhere else in the market where you can find such high quality make and fabrication.
But all the while, Brooks Brothers is having difficulty adapting and adjusting and getting a new consumer in through the door.
With the rise of Silicon Valley, men's fashion was skewing more casual, as tech CEOs ditched the suit and tie for vests, hoodies, and flannels. From 2016 to 2018, the market for suits was shrinking, while other apparel categories like sportswear were growing.
So what we see is this real push toward casualization and toward not necessarily simplicity, but toward functionality a little bit more, and away from the suit and toward maybe the simple plaid shirt that's a little bit more affordable. And so they lose this real interest from customers, and they really lose a place in the market of being where men go to for their clothing.
In 2019, Brooks Brothers captured less than 1% of sales for menswear, behind sportswear brands like Nike, Under Armour, and Adidas. In 2019, with about $1 billion in revenue and 244 stores in the US, the retailer began to look for a buyer. But coronavirus lockdowns in 2020 forced the retailer to permanently close around 51 stores, and the shift to working from home temporarily dried up the demand for professional attire.
Guys are just at the point where they just want to be comfortable, and when you're working from home, you have the ability to do that. We hear all the time now that men have their quote-unquote Zoom shirt that they will put on just before they got on the video call and then take off right after and just be sitting in a tee at their desk.
Brooks Brothers shifted production at its factories towards mass making and sought government funding through the CARES Act. But on July 8, 2020, the company filed for bankruptcy. In August, a venture backed by apparel licensing firm Authentic Brands and mall owner Simon Property Group agreed to buy Brooks Brothers for $325 million, potentially putting the company back under American ownership for the first time in over 30 years.
I have heard from a lot of people that if they focus on quality, they might make it through. That means that their clothes are going to be way more expensive than they have been. And yes, that will appease a certain customer, but that customer base willing to pay that is much smaller.
It remains to be seen how large the demand for suits will be after coronavirus, and whether a new owner can help Brooks Brothers win back its core customers or adapt to a more casual workplace.